Blah! Alright. Let's see. Systems check. Because if I don't check it, it doesn't work. Alright. I see movement. That's good thing. Did I turn the other microphone on? Maybe. Okay. I'm going to check to make sure that this one works. Question mark. Okay. Alright, I see movement on that one now too. Alright, this is gonna be a double audio here for a quick second. A double audio here for a quick second. A double words here for a quick second. A double words here for a quick second. A double words. Alright, cool beans, cool beans. I can hear myself. I might hear myself. Talking to yourself. Talking to myself. Talking to yourself. I did not fall asleep before stream was supposed to start. That totally did not happen. Anybody who would say otherwise is lying to you. I'm going to sound very sleepy. I feel a hell of a lot more awake. So you know what, it works out. Hey, no, don't sign out my stuff. What? Hold on. Where'd my audio go? Well, there it goes. It was between songs. it will never cease to amaze me. I'll check everything. I mean, this username does not exist. Did I misspell my own name? I did. That's not cool. Well, I'm already like, what do you mean I have to sign in again? I already filled this out. It's honestly just another challenge because I'm half alive. You know, that's what it is. All right, you know what? Just for giggles, since it made me sign into that one. Son of a gun, send me on over here too. Well, I don't like that. Don't do that. Please hold. Otherwise, I can't interact with chat. Heaven forbid this stuff actually work. Okay, am I supposedly reconnected to my own chat room? I am! Fantastic! Alright, fantastic. Hello, everybody. What we got hiding in here? I got stuff in the way. Why is there stuff in the way? Oh, God. I spy a Sparks. Ooh, Sparks was early. Hello! Hello, hello. In an X, it's the Proto. In a Porsche. Porsche, what you got there? Is that like a chip or a piece of pizza? Strange? Question mark? Oh, it's a juice box. Nice. Very nice. Ooh, and Porsche on a 3-stream streak. Much excellence. Hello. What do you want me to hold? I'd say you're horses, but I don't know if horses should be held by an opossum. Just a theory. A thought. An item of some kind. Therefore he screams. That sounds about right. Alright. We are going to finish the battery tonight. I've got shrink wrap. I've got heat resistant tape. I've got batteries. I've got battery protective stickers. I've got a willingness to do things. Oh, we're gonna start the applause again. Thank you. Thank you. That is much excellence. I wonder if there's a certain space wolf that's floating around this evening. I didn't see him in places where I normally would, so that could mean he could be just about anywhere. That is an appropriate response. I really wish my hand would stop doing that. I need to replace this sensor. You know, I'm going to get this. I bitch about the sensor every now and again. It's always done this since I got this specific one to replace the one that died. And that's why my hands go all freaky on this side, because the sensor I bought used, as we could already tell, is a little silly. Yeah, I'm down for it. So, I'm going to quickly switch scenes. We're just going to jump into it. I do not have a lot of words. I want to get this done. We still have to be careful and take our time, but we're going to get it done. So, we're going to get it done. All right, so we got
Well, that over there. And of course, I accidentally closed chat over here. Give me a moment while I orient a couple of things here. That's weird. I don't know why I don't see that message over here. My day was okay today. It was much excellence. I got a lot done today. And as Ald would say, how did the day had the day did in fact find me. That much I can confirm. It very much found me. Thankfully it was a little kinder today. Alright. Just gonna toss on the lab coat real quick. I probably should move. Okay. Alright, fantastic. Alright, we have a bunch of batteries. We have our battery cage, we have our BMS, and then we've got all of the plastics. So I gotta pop all these trays off, and we're gonna put all the batteries in. And I'm hoping I didn't accidentally misplace any of the covers. They have just been quietly living on the back of the bench for quite a while now, actually. So we should hopefully have all of these. Fish all of these out from the back of the bench. They started to pour, got worse, and slowly got better. Oh, well, I'm glad at least it was an upward trend after the fact, because that doesn't sound very nice. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. I didn't accidentally misplace one of the trays. Tops, which is good. Was it something work related that got you, in a not such great position? Because I feel that sometimes is just a series of different speed kicks in the pants over the course of the day sometimes. And that's not so excellent at times. Alright, I'm gonna carefully get these off because I don't want to damage them. Now, in theory, this could have been a somewhat quick assembly if I spot welded them, but I decided to use battery trays. So we're gonna see. I am making 2 full batteries. I haven't made up my mind yet if the second battery is going to be spot welded or if it's going to be a battery tray. It really dictates on how well or poorly this goes, to determine kind of what our next move is going to be. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. Long, hot, and people-y. That's not fun. Okay. All right. I'm going to put the very conductive item here aside because I don't want to send myself to the moon. All right, so we got that, and then I also need to grab out the adjustable wrench so we can tighten the cage down, which I have here. And we're going to need one of those. Just hot and long. Got paid many groceries tomorrow. Well, that's good. It's good to have more of the groceries. That's exciting. Okay, we got all those open. The next thing we have to do is adjust really every one of these trays for the battery length. Tighten the tray down, and then we'll drop in each battery. And then we'll work on sealing each battery. We also have the battery stickers that we're going to apply that will protect against rubbing on the positive side. Now this already looks really good and really reinforced, but I'm going to put the sticker on it anyway to help protect that. Ah, yes. none to some. That would be a better transition. Oh good, I'm glad you'll be able to get some foods. That's a good thing to get together. Alright, so I'm gonna do a little feeler here. Alright, so this one I had already adjusted. So that likely means all I have to do is set the rest of these about approximately the same distance. This is definitely going to be one of those I'm gonna spin a bunch of stuff 1,000 times. You know, let me grab these boys. Obviously, as I adjust the tray, there's not going to be any potential energy in it right now. Because obviously that would be bad to accidentally shut something out. So we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is carefully adjust our tray here. I haven't really thought of a decent way to kind of set these other than just some silly level of twisting on and off. But my goal is to get it so that it just comfortably lets the battery sit. That's really all I'm looking for. There's enough pressure that we know that the tray is making really good contact with the battery. Because we don't want the battery flopping around in the tray. Because once we set the battery, the ideal is that it's supposed to be snug. And when this was initially put together, I did it just to make sure that it would just be enough to just to hold everything together. Now that it's time to actually put stuff in them, then we need to make sure we have adjusted accordingly. That's pretty good. So I'm going to get all these to about approximately the same forward face, and I'm going to use the adjustable wrench and tighten all the backs down. That's kind of the running theory right now. one's kind of loose. I don't like that fit. Let's put a little more. A little more spring in our step here. There we go. That's a nice solid connection. All right, good. We'll just keep moseying down the line here. I didn't think about that. I will have to actually adjust that screw on the negative side. That's alright. Let me just get all the positive posts where they're supposed to be. And then we'll go from there. Because that's really going to be the beginning factor of most of this. It's a good fit. Comfortable. One of the nice things about doing it this way is that there's no direct connection between either side of the battery pack. So as I'm kind of using this live battery to test that I've got the setup correct for depth on these posts, it's not actually live. The battery's live, but there's no power. There's nowhere for the power to go. So it's perfectly safe to do it this way. As safety is, as you've already figured out if you've been around my channel for more than 5 seconds, is pretty top priority around here. Okay, so now that I've got all of the positive posts set, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, I'm not building just yet, but what I want to do is I want to put in just a full side and then set both sides of the cage, take those out, do the other side, and then we'll put the stickers on, and then we should be able to actually finish building the battery. It's exciting, but I haven't had this many batteries into the cage. I don't even think I've even tested this many batteries at once. I mean, granted, I've already done all the stuff that one would need to know at this point. But oh, it's exciting. We've come so far along. All very exciting. I've bitched about wanting to do this for quite a while now, and it's coming to fruition, which is really exciting. Okay, so this is going to be a combination. Again, there is no live connection between this side and the back, because there is currently no batteries to complete the circuit to the BMS. So this is just a very scary looking exposed battery pack at the moment. The reason I'm doing it this way is if you've ever built furniture before, you know that if you immediately tighten all sides of the furniture before you have both sides where you need them to be, for that being either lining up a door or a cabinet part, you know that it's easy to strip out components if you're not careful. So naturally we want to make sure that we've got everything nice and tight as we go along, so we don't accidentally strip anything out. Oh, that's right, that's right. I forgot. These don't have threads all the way to the back, which means those actually are fully seated on this side. Which means all we gotta do is tighten these down. It's been a while since I've looked at this side of the battery. Right, that feels pretty tight. Alright, so now I got all that taken care of. We're gonna release the tension on this side. We'll do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll have a live battery pack. And again, and the reason I'm taking them out and putting them back in is to make sure there is no live connection while we're working on adjusting the cage. We do not want the circuit to be live while adjusting the mounting hardware. That would be bad. Now that we've got this side together, we're going to do the same thing. I should probably start on the positive side here. And just work our way around the battery, tighten everything up. Now I am aware that the post is spinning a little bit in the battery tray. That's fine. My goal is that it's at least a snug connection between this bolt and the springing mechanism and make sure everything's nice and tight. Now before I tighten this one down, theory here is that the battery would be sitting it's going to sit probably something like that. It's actually probably fine where it's sitting. Alright. Means we're figuring we're sitting probably something in that regard. Actually, yeah, I was thinking it would actually become more out of the top. So we have that sitting where it is. Let's slug that down. Just want to make sure the wires are sitting approximately where I want them to be before I get this too tight. Okay. Thankfully, the batteries are residing in the side I wanted to energize first. So we've got all the power positive, and then before we fully commit, we have one more step to do to the batteries, and that's to put the little stickers on there. And that's going to protect the positive side from the rubbing that will occur over the course of the battery while being immobile, because it's a battery, it's going to be moving around. The trays themselves do have guides on the inside that also sit with the battery, so like it doesn't really want to jiggle because there's these lifted edges in here. So I largely think that they're probably not necessary, but again, safety, we're going to do it anyway. And you'll see, they're really not much of anything, just a fairly basic looking thing. And once you see what they look like, you'll go, really? That's what that is? Yes, that is exactly what that is. So I have a sticker, and I have a battery. And through the power, putting the sticker over the battery, we have a little bit more shielding over the top. So this is one without it, this is one with it. And we're just going to do the same thing to all of them. I'm a little amused that the first one perfectly peeled, and then when I went to do the second one, the center thingy came out. We obviously haven't looked at anything about the battery over the past couple of weeks because I've been bouncing around the planet. So I do want to remind everybody at home that these batteries were all balanced. Hey gamer, welcome on in. These batteries were balanced in the balance charger to make sure that they're all at the same voltage. And they were not fully charged. They were put into, oh, like gasp. Gamer has resubscribed for 6 months. Oh, it's been 6 months? That's crazy. Thank you. Thank you very much for the 6 months. That is greatly appreciated and helps us towards the channel's stuff like this. Right? Right? I'm so happy that the push notification tells us that, because I don't know where the time goes, and I'm just grateful it reminds me that it is very much marching on with the rest of the Black Parade, for those of you who are friends of a certain band. I don't know where it went either. I know the better half of the first half of this project was just 5 months of me losing my mind in my chair working on the code for this. And the funny thing is, it's not even done. Like, I'm to the point right now that we're finally making strides in doing one of the parts I've really wanted to do for a while now, and that's putting this part together. And I am very much here for it. Okay. Line these goofy things up. You are correct. And I was being very, very delicate on how we were going to put the trays together. We've already adjusted all of the outer metal, so now it's actually time to actually energize the battery by putting all the pieces together. I am, in fact, at the phase of doing the battery thing. It is quite exciting. Now, I do have shrink wrap, and we are going to use shrink wrap. Now, spoiler alert, I don't necessarily know. I'm kind of under the impression that the shrink wrap is slightly too small for our application. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is just splitting. No one look at what I just did. Nobody saw that I just put the battery cover over an empty slot. No one saw that. No one. You didn't see anything. Nonsense. That's not what happens here. I'm not distracted. You are. Let's try that again. With the battery this time. God almighty. Yeah, so the shrink wrap, I have it, and it's in like a fantastic flavor of green. My problem is I think it might be a little too short due to the cage nuts. But I didn't really, as you see, it's not unrolled yet. But just looking at it, I think we might have to make a couple of modifications to that. And what that's likely going to mean is we're probably going to end up using some of the thermal tape, cut it, and then wrap it, seal one end, and then heat shrink it. So then we'll just probably won't put a lot of heat on the side where the tape's going to be, just so that we can have a heat shrinked tight seal on there. Put the quality C sticker on the back later. Yeah, QC passed. I found out that this cutting board that I'm using as a nice insulative material is really damn shiny on the finished side, and a really nice matte on the back. So that's why we're looking at the back, because it doesn't blind the camera nearly as much. All right, we're looking at little green stickers all the way across. It is ungodfully imperative that I install all of these the correct direction, because when I make that next connection, we'll be on the moon if one of these is backwards. I don't want to be on the moon. I also have all of my safety stuff, and I don't want to have to use any of it. All right, we see little green all the way across, which is great. Now, this pack is technically not energized yet until I put in the first battery on the other side. So that is where, we got to be careful. As a precaution, this got a little loose as I was tinkering, so I'm going to actually tighten this back up. That came really loose. There we go. Okay. Then that is likely going to be good now. All right, so then before we continue to the other side, we're going to get some of the Kapton tape out, and we're going to secure some of the items here. So kind of like how Romex is a brand of electrical wire that runs through the walls in most homes in America, Kapton tape is also a brand. Oh, I actually did end up getting the brand name stuff. Ha, fancy that. This is just high resistive thermal tape. And now, on camera, I need to find the beginning of the roll. You ever try to find the beginning of a roll of clear tape? Yeah. Yeah. Naturally. Okay, so we're going to use I largely want to put this over the contacts so that they're not exposed anymore. Oh yeah, no, I'm doing all right. Stream may have started a little late because I may have passed out on my bed, but life will do that sometimes. And the ironic part is that I actually could have started a little earlier. But my body said no. But shenanigan aside, I'm actually doing quite well today. How about yourself? How are you today, gamer? Okay, so we got that there. I'm going to hold off on putting tape on anything else just yet for the moment. So just want enough to cover that. Because the other thing too is I also have a thermal resistive paper that we're going to put over it first, and then the heat shrink sock, so that everything is largely held in place. And going well. Have laptop provisions to do, so pretty chill time. Oh, that's nice. And if it's a nice provisioning setup, then usually it's just a couple of clicks. Now, granted, usually it's a couple of clicks a bazillion times if you're setting up a bunch of them, but it's still good work regardless. Provisions, then drop off, monitors, docks, the office. Oh, yeah, so you're moving some assets around. That's fair. Mighty fine. Okay, so now we get to put the stickers on these and pop them in. One batch got you. Are the batches large quantities, like more than 20 at a time? So I know some of these bigger companies, I know one buddy of mine, he was like practically fulfillment, and he had to shove out the door like the better half of like 100 machines, and I'm like, you're insane. 10 to 15. Okay. That's not too many. That's not too many bad in a clip. Which is good. Oh, also, for everybody at home, as I had mentioned before, about the whole wanting to put together a slightly better regulator, because this was the one we built last time, because I wasn't super comfortable with the way that these little boards connected with their little contact pads. The new ones came in, and they're beefier, bigger, and have the screw terminals. So we will have no issue with securing our stuff here. Now this one's variable. It uses a POTS screw right here to adjust the voltage. So we're not playing with this tonight, but just to give you the idea of also why, when I looked at how big this one was for supposedly the same amount of amperage that it supposedly puts out, I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that, but that's okay, because we have the replacement. It's going to be a little bit bigger. I mean, if we already look at, you know, kind of the footprint of this guy, it's not super much bigger, but yeah, I'm not worried about it. But yeah, just a quick FYI to all y'all, that has occurred, which I'm excited. Again, we're still moving forward with the project. I'm likely going to work on that regulator either in the Discord server, off camera, while we continue to push forward while building the head.
Bob, can I get a glass of water?
Hydrate? Oh my, that sounds okay. Thank you for the hydrate. Yeah, easy stuff. That sounds all right. I have tea with me this evening, and it's delicious. It's also caffeinated, so I can kind of help wake up a little bit. Because that's what we need. There's a little bit of caffeine. The thing that gets me is that I know that the battery cage makes it a little bit bigger versus spot welding them together. But it really makes you think about those massive power banks that people use to like power their homes when the power goes out. Like Anchor, the Anchor brand sells some of those. They're like power stations, and they're massive. I can't even imagine what it must be like to be at the factory for something like that. Because sure, the people are probably not doing the individual spot welds across each battery pack, but they're probably at least joining multiple of the cells together, the subsections. So, you know, there's that. The caffeine equals good. Indeed, I would agree. It is a little. I mean, I guess it kind of is. The big thing too is just making sure that when you're spot welding, that you don't overdo it with how much potential energy you push. Okay, so I'm going to orient this so that I'm assembling it the same way I did the other side, with the ground towards me and the positive near the top. We can also verify that I've got the correct stuff here, because we've got our positive lead, which is this nice red wire, which I did match to make sure that indicates the top, the springy bit's on the bottom, and if we flip, we'll go negative to positive, and then the negative goes to the negative of the BMS. So I have it all correctly oriented, which is super duper important. Oh, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna, because I'm already gonna wrap it in the thermal paper. I was gonna say I could put a sticky pad in the center of this to help kind of further keep it from jiggling around too much, but I'm already planning on using the thermal stuff. Yeah, we'll be all right. Okay. Well, there's our first battery. The pack is now live. We're just going to carefully go one at a time. So this is the point in the project where the battery is most volatile, because it's not fully assembled. You We would want to be incredibly careful at this point to make sure we don't make a mistake. Making a mistake at this point in the process would be bad. Very bad. Anytime you're working with electronics, whether that be a desktop computer, whether that be a battery pack, anything that has potential energy in it, and it is live, like this battery is right now, make sure that if you have rings of any kind, that they're non-conductive. If they are conductive, take them off. I know a lot of folks that do work in the computer space that also carry a chain with them. And when they're doing something that involves their hands near live equipment, they put the ring on the chain and the chain goes into their shirt. So you don't accidentally short something out. Thankfully, the potential energy in all this stuff is all DC voltage. Oh, this one's a little bent. A little bit of a challenge putting this one back on. I did it again. I'm lining up for a tray with no battery. There we go. Excellent. Okay. 2 more. Okay, so the most important things now that the battery pack is assembled. Make sure all the studs are tight. I'm gonna grab my multimeter. And we're gonna check our plug. We do have a little bit more prep we have to do before we wrap it, but that's okay. I'm purposely setting it higher than what we're going to actually read. And then we got 1 lead on the positive side of the battery and 1 on the negative side of the battery. And we have a nice 7.63 volts, which is perfect. It's exactly what we're supposed to have. Which now, if we then take the next part of our mission here and we attach it, and then we check the opposite side of this guy. We bench power tested this, but we didn't hook up the battery pack to it. We get a nice 5.18 volts DC, which is great. That's exactly what we're supposed to have. And then just to make sure that nothing got loose, not that there should be, but we can plug that in and see that one lit up, and plug that one in and see that that one lit up. That goes to show that we have 5 volts at both USB ports. We have a full 5 volts at the end of the regulator, and the battery pack now has a quick release from the regulator, because we don't want this to drain the battery out. Now, a couple of other things we could check just to show that We've got the craziness under control. I know I had shown this off before, but I'm going to show it off again. Is the fact that if I check the battery pack on just each side, we're only going to see the power of one battery. Now, it would help if I hook up the leads correctly. Now, the good news is, the good news is this is a multimeter. I can reverse that. Nothing bad happens. And we get 3.8 volts from one side of the battery. And if I check the bottom portion of the battery, doing the same thing, we also get 3.8 volts. So that goes to show right there that we've got an appropriate voltage on both. And the plug is 7.6. The regulator brings it down to 5, and that gives us all the power we could possibly want to put on our Proto, which is awesome. So now, we have a couple of other things we need to do now to prep this before we wrap it and then see how we're going to go about sealing it. That is going to be next on the agenda here. Just give me a moment. I'm just going to put a couple of these things off to the side. I do need the scissors out, but I have to be mindful of where they are sitting. I can have nothing touch the gold contacts because the battery is now live. You have to be mindful of that. Got that, put that over there. I'll leave this off to the side. This is fine. Okay, so we got this, and then we're gonna grab more of our heat resistive tape. And we're gonna do a little bit more work here. So I now want to work on this side of the battery, because the last thing I want is for this to get chewed through by one of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to secure this along the side. We're going to secure it so that it is not moving around in the breeze. Okay. Now this is still going to get a gaggle of protective cardboard over top of it, but it still helps. And then we also got some of the thicker stuff too. We're going to use the thicker stuff on the edges of the battery here. And we're going to do the same thing to this side. Put a nice piece on there. Use that just to stand that up a little bit for me. Okay, so those are now nicely protected, and now we get to do to this side. Now, the reason I started with this side is that these are the sides of the battery that don't touch. This is the side that's welded together, so it's not a problem if these touch. They're physically touching all the time, and are supposed to moving forward. Now, this one I could probably get tacked down. Probably do this in 2 steps too. I'll do a small piece for this to tack it in place, and then we'll go from there. Because my main concern is that it doesn't move around and short out against some of the kind of sharp parts of the battery pack. That's all nice. And now we'll do with the 2-inch tape just right over the depth. Actually, you know what? The battery kind of has a split in the center. I mean, we know it has a split in the center. Yeah, that should be fine. And again, this is largely just because I don't want there to be anything exposed. The battery pack itself is going to have the ability to kind of move around a little bit. Okay, so that secures the BMS to this. That's not going anywhere. And then if we take a look here, we missed that. I want to make sure that the wire itself, this is really reflective, so I'm sorry if it's a little hard to see. It's not butting up against the post, and then that we cross here without giving the opportunity to short. Okay, cool. So we have that. The next layer is going to be the tape, not the tape, the thermal paper that's going to go around it, and then we're probably going to do a split and then heat shrink it. Now this stuff I have not used before, so we're both going to kind of learn along the way here. It's got an adhesive on one side, so you know what, let's start with this side, and then we'll figure ourselves out as we move about here. Okay, so we got that there. This kind of reminds me of putting on a screen protector for, over a phone. Kind of has that same feeling. All right, so obviously we're going to need to make some cuts for the harness to come out that we know. That's okay. So all we're going to do right now is take a primitive stance on about where we're going to go, and I'm going to be really careful not to cut anything that I actually need to not cut. Because I'll tell you something right now, I cut through some wires, I'm going to have a bad time. That would be a bad time guaranteed. All right, so we got that on there, and then set that off to the side. Okay. So what we got here is we have where the harness is going to come out and attach. And then I think what we'll do is we'll just add a split in the paper. All right, cool. So we got that off of there. And now, kind of like the world's worst Christmas present, I'm going to attempt to fold the sides in. put a couple of creases in here, so it's actually possible to do such a request. All right. Excellent. I do realize I did come up short here, but that's all right. I'll just cut another small piece. We'll join it, and then we'll be all right. I thought I cut it long enough. Obviously, I didn't, but that's all right. This area of the battery isn't really going to be visible anyway once we put the shrink wrap on it. Yes, I do realize that's going to be a little overkill, but when you're walking around with this much potential energy, I don't really want to screw around with that. All right, great. So now we have one more little piece we're going to need to cut for this, and then we're going to play with the shrink wrap. So we do not need a very large piece. We just need something big enough to go up and around. Which, if I were to attach that there, let's figure that we cut it and put it around the halfway point. We'll cut it right around there somewhere. So obviously I want it to be big enough to cover, but also I don't want it to, have it trying to peel away either. All right, awesome. That's... All right, so now we're going to peel away our protective backing. It's so chonky. It's fine. I do hate that that does not seal at a bit of a 90-degree angle, and I'm also not super thrilled with that, but yeah, it's alright. Okay, now to make it look way less scary, we're gonna put some plastic wrap on it. Or not plastic wrap, some shrink wrap on it. Because yeah, it's a little scary looking right now. Now with any custom-made battery, you obviously want to label what the hell it is, because for something that looks like what we're looking like, it could be identified and misidentified, and that's not something we would want to have happen in a place where there's many people. So we're going to be mighty careful. Ooh, oh, you know what? Maybe it will fit. Yeah, maybe it won't. We'll see. Like I said, if I have to split this, I will. I've got the tape. I already know I got to make a cut for the battery harness, but if we were to humor the idea of trying to fit it in here, the answer is probably no, right? Now, it's not like I didn't check this beforehand. It already felt like it wasn't going to, and I already kind of settled on the plan of splitting it. Yeah, it's not tall enough. That's okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut it so that it's slightly a little too long, and then we're going to split the center. So let's figure somewhere around here. We'll work with that. Because I already kind of knew that this part wasn't going to be necessarily perfect. Heat shrink kind of comes in a variety of sizes, and oddly enough, fairly large stuff is kind of hard to come by. I don't know how much of a pain in the butt this is going to be to reseal once I split the end, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, that's what I thought. It misses by a fair amount. That's kind of what I thought. But, it's alright. Because the theory here is they want... All I really want to do is to kind of tape the two ends back together and then apply some heat so that it all shrinks down. Which we'll have to get out the hot station for that, which we have. I just have it off camera. So that's what we're going to do. Now, this is going to be a little challenging, but should still work out okay. So what I think we'll do right now is we're going to just use 2 generous strips of the thermal tape to join the two ends together. Is it ideal? No. Is it what we're doing? Yes. Yes, we are. God, that is ugly. It also kind of skittered a little bit on me, which I didn't really want it to do, but it did anyway. The other thing too is I don't know. I guess with the side open, it's probably not going to really shrink on the sides down the way I probably would want it to without it being joined at the top. So I'm probably stuck at a minimum doing something like this, where the ends are gonna have to meet. Otherwise, I don't really think it's gonna shrink it down at all. This side's kind of hopeless. Well, let me hit it a little bit of heat, see what it does. Obviously, we do need to be careful because that is a loaded battery now. So we're going to just take our time with the heat wand, and we're going to figure it out from here. I'm going to turn on the heat wand, which is the SMD side of the station, and I'm going to bring the heat from stupid hot down to about 200 degrees. Bottoms out around 212. All right. The lights are gonna blink a little bit here because heat station. Howdy, Pine. Welcome on in. I know what you're thinking. You're not wrong. Gamer's thinking it too, which is fair. You know, I might just settle for the heat resistive tape. Either that, or I see if about finding maybe a new sock to put on this. Maybe. We'll see. Good. I'm glad that your brain also kind of went where mine went. Look at the bright side. At least it's not charging at the moment. Sure. We'll go with that. Unfortunately, I think that's as much as that side's going to end up shrinking down on that side. Try this side and see how much shrinky shrink we get. Yeah, alright, well. Am I happy with the outside? No, I am not. Am I happy with the thermal paper? Yes, yes I am. And you know what? In an interest of more than just the looks on this, but the fact that it looks like something that's not terribly, safe looking, I'm gonna strip this and we're gonna put just more thermal paper on it. If this was something that would not be seen by anybody other than than me. I wouldn't care. And it is nothing to do with vanity, more of safety. Twitch is a little funny on which words you use on this platform, but you can probably already imagine where my mind went and why this looking the way it does kind of feels like a problem. So, because honestly, I really think that that looks way less intimidating. So we're going to go with that instead. So I'm going to just do a little bit more arts and crafts with the paper. And we'll cover the sides. And then I think that will look way less terrifying. 100%, thank you. It's one of those things that, sure, I thought about trying to find out what the middle of this is. Thanks, Pine. You know, there's a plushie that's for sale online that says that. And I tell you something right now, it certainly has crossed my mind in the assembly of this thing. A Nova stopped by. Oh my, hello. We're building a battery. Probably shouldn't leave my scissors on top of it. We're gonna seal the sides. Yes, indeed. I had some beverage. It was mighty fine. How about you this evening? What have you been up to? Oh yeah, 110%. Thanks to, I've kind of lost track of how many communities that gave me the heads up on that. Yours included, which I appreciate that. Please keep doing that when you see more stuff. I got that turned off before, but even before I came anywhere close to Wednesday. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, color matching scissors. Yeah, thank you for that info. It's I just appreciate it. Okay. All right, fantastic. That looks significantly less terrifying. I like that. Because the whole thing, too, is that this entire battery is going to be sitting in some kind of custom-made pouch that I'm going to come up with. So, realistically speaking, it isn't really going to be visible other than the top of the battery peeking out. It's right there. I don't know, the Kapton tape to me just kind of feels like something that probably shouldn't be on the outside where people could see it. Yeah. There's a lot of things I'm doing and trying to make it not look like something that's not far from family friendly is kind of the angle, if you catch my drift. That is some chonkus of a battery. I've got battery stuff everywhere. Okay, so I'm done with the heat station. I'm gonna put this away. Stop making it look like the Conjuring is happening in this room. I'm sure you guys probably can see the lights blinking when that comes on. Okay. Alright, so I got that. And then I did set it aside, but just one more time. We're gonna hit this with the probe. Okay, we have that set to 12 volts. I'm going to check it one more time. And there we go, 7.6. Now, the pack is purposely not near full charge. Full charge should be around 8.4 volts. I purposely wanted to build it and also have the batteries in store mode while assembling it. Lithium batteries you really shouldn't have near their full potential if you're not going to be immediately using them, which is why having a charger that can put them into that store mode is so important. Hey, don't do that. I want to begin to explain what that would look like without the context of the rest of the stream. Because I know the country I live in. And I also know what goes on around here. And I also know that I don't want this to look like anything other than what it is. Let me put it that way. Now, something else I am curious about. I don't think it's big enough. I'm probably gonna have to get a new bag. I have one of these. And this little bag of chips is what you would normally put your lithium batteries in to charge them. A wild caption in the stream tile. No. we don't want that. Well, this might actually fit. Maybe? If it does, it's gonna just barely. Hold up. If it's going in with one of these on. Oh shit. Alright, hold up. Okay, so I almost shoved it on, but look at what we have on this side. Guess what these can do? These can do some of that. So we gotta be careful. Oh shit, it really does fit. Nice. I probably will be able to close that, which is good. Alright, so... Alright, good news. It fits in the bag. Other good news. I should actually be able to do kind of that. Alright, fantastic. This is the spiciest pouch in my entire house right now. Let me grab the battery charger. I still think I'm going to want to pick up another one that can actually, like, fully seal, but, you know, that doesn't have to be right now. I have no reason to believe that we haven't done anything that would be problematic to anybody's immediate safety, including my own. But that doesn't mean that we don't play with the safety tools that are provided by me, for me, to keep my eyebrows firmly attached to where I last left them. Okay, so we have this lovely little number. I'm going to plug that end in, and then we're going to attach our leads. I want this to sit so that I can read the screen comfortably. What am I doing with my life? All right, fantastic. All right, so we are gonna go from lipo charge. There's lipo balance. See, storage puts it at 3.7 for a single cell, 1S. We've got 2S on our hands. We've got lipo discharge. I think what we will do... It's getting late. I am not going to let this fully charge unattended. I would be out of my mind to do that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run the discharge for about a half hour. I'm not going to let it run longer than that. So we're going to do discharge at I think the max this will do is 2. Yeah. And then our cutoff voltage is 6 volts, which is when this would shut off. There's the battery check. And we can see that the screen here is climbing. And try to get this in a little bit of a better position for all of you. If I orient it that way, and then I grab the remote so I can take the camera in. Probably help if I selected the right camera before trying to zoom the camera in. Haha. Oh, no, I could leave that sitting downwards. Actually, no, I can prop that up. Makes it a little easier to see. All right, cool. So this is the best I'm going to be able to do. So if you're looking on your phone, you can rotate your phone. If you're looking on your computer, rotate your head. Because there's no other way I'm going to get that in frame. Our battery is currently showing that we're at the 7 volts. And the discharge is all the way up to 1.2 amp right now. And the pack is very much dead cold, as you would expect from something I just started moments ago. Pro streamer moment, I know. Telling the audience, turn your head. Listen, I want the battery to be sitting on this stuff, which technically I probably could have just turned the whole thing, but then I would get that kind of out of frame. Maybe I want to do that. Yeah. We could see we're at 1.2 amp, and it did not go higher than that. Now, the reason that that's probably the case is that the battery pack is already around that storage voltage, so it's not going to try to draw a significant amount of power, probably so close to the cutoff voltage, which is in another 1.13 volts. That's not a lot of distance to finish covering, but 1.2 amp. Yeah, we'll let that sit for a couple minutes. And then, yeah, so while that's doing that, give me a moment. I'm just gonna make myself some room here because I'm kind of all over the place. This room is just full of supplies and they are everywhere. So, just a moment. While I get reoriented. Alright, so that's the rest of the paper stuff. Put that over there. And then I can take the scissors, get those out of there. And I am all done with the screwdriver. Put this away. Best thing is I do have places for these tools. Not too far off camera, so we're not playing the oh no game too insanely. Yeah. All right, cool. So that's wandering along, and this is the really big battery. So my initial thought here, I'm gonna hop in my seat here. Microphone. Thank you. Thank you, gamer. It's the hub acting up again. It's funny, it was fine when I started stream, and then I started talking on this scene, and it went, bye. Bye, Felicia. I'm like, great, thank you for that. So we have audio again. Okay, so rewind and play. Yeah, I'm like, bah, bah, bah. my mic is in sync. I'm not, but it is. My plan here is that we're gonna let that just marinate for a couple minutes and just let it go through its little bit of discharge. We'll see if the amperage jumps up or not. And then the next major thing we're gonna end up doing with this battery, I'll run it through a full discharge cycle to get it all the way down to 6 volts. The BMS will cut it off. The charger will also cut off at 6 volts because this is an intelligent charger. And then I will supervise it for its first full charge. And then we'll see how much capacity goes into it. And depending, I'm not entirely sure. The BMS is capable of discharging at up to 10 amps. But for charging, I realized before stream that I don't know how fast it's capable of charging at. The charger itself is only capable of going up to 2 amps. And to be completely honest, with a pack of this size, I don't think I'd want to go faster than that. Even if it was capable of doing so. So, the BMS is supposed to manage all of that, but as you can clearly see, my level of paranoia in a battery burn bag probably fills you in on how I feel about that. Just to be sure. So, I'll keep an eye on it. That won't be tonight. Tonight is just simply us just finishing its initial assembly. Moving forward with specifically the Protogen project. The next part is going to be working on the 3D printed frame. So there's going to be some work behind the scenes on my part while I work on getting a color picked out, print the frame, and then we can start looking at on stream how those pieces are going to go together, and kind of determine what the next move is going to be. I am actively looking forward to this part of the project, and also a little excuse me, also a little skittish at the same time, because everything else up until this point felt fairly familiar. So this is where we're going to dig into that territory of all new stuff. I'm here for it. I want to do it. There's no way in hell we're not going to build the Protogen head. I'm going to be very clear with that right now. But there's going to be progress of some speed. I don't know what that's going to be. It may go easily, it may not. One of the other things I can tell you is they did recently pick up, and I'll have it on Friday, probably gonna play around with it a little bit, a inset kit. What that is if you've ever looked on the inside of a laptop, there is little metal studs that are embedded in plastic. Wait, what? May he pasta demons leave ye be. I am very confused by those words. I'm so good. I am so I am like, I'm not gonna classify myself as one who knows heavily about memes, but I feel like that one slid right through my ears. Save my work? What do you mean save my work? I know work. Is it possible to click save on
Can I get a glass of water?
You're talking about the 3D printer spaghetti. Okay, all right. I don't know why. No, you're fine. You're fine,
Bruh.
It didn't click. All right, hang on. Let me get caught up here. I got my beverage of choice. I'm a little silly. It's okay. Fantastic. Thank you, Nova, for the hydrate. Thank you. Thank you, Pike, for saying those words, because it's been a while since I've had to deal with the madness of that nature. And hopefully it will continue to be okay. Wireless keyboard, it's fine. It's fine. You helped explain so I can understand. That's all I needed to hear. Oh, goodness. I got lost. Where am I at here? Hey, hold on. You said words and then it ran off my screen. Where are we at here? Oh, yeah, totally. Nova, are you in my Discord? Because I just recently, well, I say recently, I say that's kind of a lie. There is a channel for sharing artwork of yourself that I have. You can drop it in there. That works too. I got sidetracked. Inset, yes, those things. So picture the nut you would screw a bolt into, and then inset it in plastic. It's essentially a hot iron that just heats up the lug, and then you just push it into the plastic to add a screwable mounting point. I don't know if we're going to use it on the Protogen. All I know is that the tool looked really handy, and we'll wait and see if that's going to be relevant or not. If not, I have at least 3 projects in my head right now that are just bouncing around up here that I want to use that tool on. So I'm going to end up using it anyway. DM's phone charger. Heat set. Yeah. Yeah, it takes the little thing. Oh yeah, duh, I'm in your server. You could just ping me. I'm stupid. I have been referred to by the elite as a very smart, stupid person, and I feel that at times, like right now. Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. You're smiling at me. You also know I'm not wrong. So yeah, we've got that activity that we're gonna do while we kind of figure that bit out, and then we're just gonna see where we go. I know why you're not trying to argue it. We also both know I'm not wrong. See, I'm in a weird space in my life that I can complete an activity with the accuracy of a sniper in the woods, or a guy who couldn't find water falling out of a boat. And that feeling goes back and forth daily, sometimes by the hour. And I don't fight that. That's just how it goes sometimes. I also have really crappy luck. So I am not much of a gambling toaster. Can absolutely confirm. Why did the background music get so loud? Oh my word. The lo-fi is really kicking it up tonight. So yeah, that's just, it's just how it goes sometimes. It reminds me of a funny thing I had while I was on the job working on something, and I was looking for a wiring harness for something that one component was supposed to slot into the other. I wasn't supposed to need a wiring harness, but I was looking for one. And then a little while later, I had a coworker that was looking for a specific USB cable, but the cable they had was multi-use, and you just have to pop the little thing off the top to switch it to the other kind. And we both did this like 10 minutes apart from each other, and it was just kind of had that moment of agreeance, like, just, you know, sometimes we're not all here. And it gets kind of silly, but that's also why you have to treat yourself with kindness,
because Lord knows nobody else is going to end up doing it the way you need to on the daily. Thank you. But it's true. Be kind to yourself. You have to. Especially be very lighthearted with yourself, because the reality is stuff's going to happen. And it's not that some people have necessarily better work or worse luck in that regard, more of how they respond to it. Because it's gonna happen. You don't know what it is. A little story. I was doing some travel, and it's the middle of the night, and my flight got canceled. It's the middle of the night. I'm standing in a closed airport with no one around me. And I'm looking at my phone, and I go, well, that's not good. To make a long story fairly short, we're going to condense this. That flight got canceled. I drove to a different airport, missed that flight, was rebooked for another flight 6 hours later, and then when that flight arrived, there was an issue with the door seal of the plane, so it was down for maintenance as soon as the door opened and the people got off the plane. So I sat there so long that my biggest power bank that I have yet to actually drain, I successfully killed in the span of what was basically the whole day, just kind of camping in an airport. Multiple, but that just be what it is. How did we respond? We worked through it, and that's just the nature of what happens. And I'm kind of holding that in my own head, because as I move forward with the Protogen, I'm sure there's going to be stuff that I'm not terribly comfortable with, and stuff that we're just going to ball it. We're just going to see what happens, because I don't know what I don't know, and that's the best way to figure it out. Let's just keep pushing forward. So I'm going to figure out what type of PLA plastic best matches this gray. I've got my ref sheet. I'm just gonna rock with that to figure out my color. We'll figure out that plastic. I'll buy it. We'll print that, and then let me see what instructions I can find based on that base. And then that, in combination with our custom hardware, we're gonna figure out how it's gonna go together. And then I'll see. I'm not sure how much of the furring I'll be able to show, but if nothing, I'm at least going to do updates on the channel when it comes to that. I've got a bit of limited space on the workbench, and really big stuff I can't really show and tell. So we'll definitely be able to do updates, and there's going to be lots of pictures. So we're gonna play with that. Okay. So I'm gonna switch back to the battery for a second. I want to see how far along we are here.
All right, so it looks like it kind of stopped at that 1.2 amps. It's not trying to go higher than that, which is perfectly fine. And it's been cruising here for the last 20 minutes. That's not bad. It's still holding pretty strong there at 7.1 volts. It pulled 367 milliamps out. Nice.
So yeah, I'm gonna turn that off. I'm not gonna look to fully drain it right now, because again, it's getting late, and I want this thing to be fully supervised for its first couple of charges and discharges to make sure everything is according to plan. So far, we are, which that makes for a happy toaster. So yeah, we're gonna rock with that, and then let me see who is floating around.